is crazy. It literally shoots radar out of its butt. And in case you're wondering if I'm joking, I'm not. Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV here at another one of our RV show displays, catching you some footage that will have, the event will have concluded by the time you get to enjoy this. Behind us here, some updated looks at the 20 FB Ember Touring. This is the smallest member of their touring series, but what's great is it gives you a lot of big features in a very towable and goable kind of situation. So they have a 6'10" ceiling clearance inside, which just lightens and brightens the whole thing up, not to mention you add their really aggressive lighting package, and the light color palette inside in general. And it looks and feels large, even though it's something that's not super intimidating to be, towing and going around. This is the kind of RV that can work for a lot of tow package half tons for getting around. So you don't necessarily need to go neck deep on an $80,000 monster truck to get the thing hauled around here. You do have a true queen bed up front with some excellent headboard power pockets. They have both hidden USB and household outlets, so you're like very CPAP friendly. Now we're looking at one today with their optional solar package. Normally it's only solar and inverter prepped, but with that package, you're going to pick up 400 watts of solar and a 2,000 watt inverter. So if you are making some long distance trips and maybe you get stuck in a traffic jam and you got to do a Walmart overnight, you can still run things like a coffee maker in the morning to get caffeinated before you head back out there on the highway like Steppenwolf. These are all 0 to 100 degree rated, which is fantastic. The underbelly's enclosed, forced air heated. You have tank heaters, and the majority of the body is actually a composite body construction with aluminum skeleton work. The only part on this that is not is the roof structure, so that they could do things like centralize the air conditioning more efficiently and make it more effective overall. There's a bunch of things that I really like on this RV, but it does have a couple hiccups and hangups, some things that you may not necessarily prefer. I like to share the good with the bad, and I want to hear from you as we go. Let me know your favorite parts about this RV and something you would suggest they change and or update, and maybe we can kind of meet together in the comment section and get that feedback to Ember. But in the meantime, let's get in there and hit that subscribe button if you appreciate us getting these videos for you. The thing with a layout like this is there are so many builders that make something like this, and they all make a couple cool different variations of it. So why would you look at the Ember Touring version versus something else? Because chances are it's a little bit bigger, heavier, and more expensive than most of those other ones. So what are you getting for that money? Let's actually just start working from the top down. First of all, up top here, you have a taller ceiling. It's 6'10" from floor to ceiling, and it's a linear ceiling liner. It does have a barreled exterior roof for water runoff, but it's just big in here. And with their really big lighting package, which, by the way, one of the things that is easily missed on here is that these are dimmable lights. Now, when I dim them, my camera goes nuts. Sorry about that. But, in the evening hours, you don't have to get stabbed in the eyes, because in real life, it doesn't flicker like that. They don't have any sort of floor vents, so these are very easy cleaning and pet friendly, depending on your pet, though. Like if you got a cat, this model doesn't exactly have a great spot for a litter box. Now, I want to dedicate the next thing I'm going to talk about here to a very dedicated regular viewer, Mr. Richard Vale. He absolutely, positively hates seating that is not cuddle compliant, which is why I think he may actually like the sofa, because he likes the idea of being able to kick your feet up, but he wants to sit next to his little sweetie. So first of all, the cool thing is you do have some handy outlets in there. Let me get this pillow out of the way. Second thing is it's only a hard fixed armrest theater seat if you want it to be a hard fixed armrest theater seat. So that is an extra long, I call it kind of like napping recliner couch. Your left and right cushions, those do recline, where you have those swing out kind of swivel stands. Those do recline. The middle section is fixed. I think the very original version of this, the middle section may actually have been a recliner. This one does not. Now, you might be looking at this going, yeah, but where do I eat? The cool part is it does include those little swivel stands that will basically function as your dining. It doesn't have a separate table situation. Now, up top here, you've got the Stargazer skylight system where you can keep an eye on Luke Skywalker or whatever there. And the thing is, they're using different windows on these. So whether it's that Stargazer or all of these windows, they are a dual pane true Euro window. And here's the thing. When you hear dual pane in the RV industry, it doesn't actually usually greatly enhance your R value. So a standard window R value is an R 0.78. And you think, okay, so dual panes are double that. And they're not, because they're not a hollow gas charged dual pane in the common towable segment of the world. They are literally just two sheets of glass glued together face to face. So your R value goes from 0.78 to 1.014 or something like that. Barely anything. The dual pane windows, these Euro windows that you're looking at, are 2.5 times better than a bonded glass RV dual pane window. They just do a better job. Now the thing is, that's still not a whole lot of R value, but it's major noise canceling. It does a fantastic job there. And this is an open concept RV. It doesn't have like a privacy curtain or anything like that, so it has a little bit of what I call the hotel room effect, where the bed is just kind of in the middle of the room, and it makes the whole room look and feel bigger. That is a 60 by 80 true queen bed, by the way. They don't currently offer anything in the way of like a king bed swaption or anything like that. I'd be kind of curious. Would you like a king bed, understanding that it will eat into your side stand space, and you would have to give up about half-ish of your drawer and wardrobe hanging space on this one? Although you'll see in a minute here, under and behind the TV, they actually have more drawer and wardrobe space going on in there. Working our way up front here, the RV that we're looking at today is equipped with their optional solar package. And you can tell that right from here without even seeing a charge controller, because it does also include that 2,000 watt inverter as part of that package. So every single household outlet in this RV can be live powered off your battery at the expense of draining your batteries more quickly. But a 2,000 watt inverter is, generally speaking, enough to be able to run things like a coffee maker. Now, more and more manufacturers have adopted the headboard power pockets back here, but a lot of manufacturers have quietly stopped including the power function of the power pocket. So like back there, you have household and USB plugs, but a lot of manufacturers have quit putting plugs back there where you can't see them, and their RVs are a couple bucks cheaper as a result, you know. I'm going to demonstrate this again later, but sometimes you see this and it freaks you out because it's just purely open air. Well, if you want to, obviously you can close the skylight, and the back of our nightshade actually has a radiant barrier on it. So if there's hot sun banging down on you, first of all, you've got the best insulating window available in the entire RV industry up there. Secondly, you've got that heat reflective radiant barrier up here. Sorry, I just ate a piece of licorice a minute ago, and a chunk of it broke loose out of one of my molars, and it hit me right in the back of the throat, and I was trying to like just deal with it, and instead, you know, like when you get popcorn stuck in your throat, that's kind of what that felt like. Moving up here, look at the bottom of the kitchen counter. You see how it's got that shadow down there? That's because it has an exaggerated recessed toe kick, so that you can actually belly right up to the stove, right up to the sink, and not get lower back pain trying to do dishes in your camper. Now, one of the major differences here between Touring Edition and all of the other Embers is that Touring is the only one that actually has a factory standard oven. It's not even optional in the others. I don't know why I phrased it that way. It's the only one that actually has a propane oven, and they're using a bigger oven as opposed to a little 16-inch Easy Bake. This floor plan doesn't have the most counter space. A 21 MRK is probably the best Ember Touring for counter space. That's fantastic. But you do have some household outlets kind of over here that are easy to miss. Also, on the side of the cabinet past the sink, you'll find some household outlets over there as well. Working our way around here, you do have all pocket screwed lumber core cabinetry, which is nice, and they are all hardwood cabinet door frames. They do not offer anything in the way of a gas electric refrigerator. They are exclusively a 12-volt brand. I'll give you a better look at this in a few minutes, but what they have over here, it's an open face pantry, which I don't love the fact that it's open face, but it's really hard to put doors when you have a entry door handle and a refrigerator there. Like, you can't fully open it. What you can do, though, is as you see how that one shelf is flipped up, you can turn that into a broom closet, which is cool. And I love the little details like this. Having the little magnet hold back and kind of bump stop for the bathroom door so it doesn't smash into the refrigerator door. It's those little devil in the detail things that I really like. Kind of like, you've got two different enhanced type of fans. So here in the biggest room, you do get the bigger fan for the better superior airflow and exhaust, where especially those Euro windows are probably some of the very best windows out there in the world for fresh airflow. And then you flip on that fan up there and you can keep like a 6 to 8 mile-an-hour breeze cruising through your RV at all times, which I think is really, really awesome. but not every RV is going to give you that luxury and that opportunity. Whereas, you know, these do, which is kind of cool. And you can see you've got breeze across windows all over the place in here. Power outlets right next to anywhere you're going to be. A bunch of really cool, smart little detail features like that. You know, they've done a lot of really good things in here. Where do I want to begin? I want to start diving into more details on this. Let's just kind of begin, I don't know, over here across from us, as long as we're looking at it. It's easy to miss because, like I said, it had an open face pantry. So in your head, you're probably already thinking, I don't like an open face pantry. It does have a fully enclosed pantry between the bathroom and the slide out as well. But again, if you want to flip those shelves up out of the way, if you want to maybe convert that into some kind of little closet, if you want to make it a broom closet right by the door, which is so handy, fishing pole storage, or a baseball bat to defend yourself from the gas station murder hobo what come a get you, well, you've got the perfect place to do all of that. And the kitchen details are easy to miss, but like you have soft close, residential soft close drawers over here in the kitchen. There is a full big pots and pans drawer below the oven as well. You don't see storage below the TV because that's actually an outside camp kitchen. What's easy to miss though is behind the TV is yet another either dresser or pantry, or you can flip that shelf up and make that a closet. So you have the potential of having 3 different hanging spaces in this, or 2 different enclosed pantries, or some combination thereof. There's a lot of different things that you can do with this and different ways that you can come up with all of it. It's a really good, multifunctional, very flexible design that I don't know. I like it. But the thing is, to pack all of that into this RV, they did have to make it a little bit heavier, a little bit bigger, a little bit more expensive. There's also the little devil in the details, like the fact that your overhead cabinets, did you notice how they all have struts? They got that Bob Seger strut going on about them. So many brands, even some brands that I really like, that I really respect, that I think are very well detailed, have been quietly peeling that stuff out of their RV the last couple of years to try to get the dollars and cents down by nickels and dimes. The problem is sometimes nickels and dimes are worth dollars and cents, and the juice is worth the squeeze, if you know what I mean. So with this big theater seat, something had just occurred to me. Well, what about like a hide-a-bed? Well, I don't believe they actually offer that here because the hide-a-bed's not as wide. You know, this model is basically just a theater seat. I don't believe they offer any other sofa swaptions on that. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty confident that's correct. You may notice, Ember tends to be pretty good about this. They don't tend to employ the peekaboo, I smell you bathroom door up here. Wait a minute. I just realized something. I'm sorry. Let me sit on the couch. We looked at the kitchen briefly. Normally, I would have taken a moment to give you a little bit of a look at the entertainment center. So it's directly on from the left-hand theater seat, whereas if I slide over here to the right, it's not bad. It's not terrible. Now, the TV can swivel out, but the thing is, the TV does not swivel toward the theater seat. What it actually does here is it swings out toward the bed. So if you want, you can actually swing that thing out toward the bed at night and be able to watch from there. Now it's a little bit spring-loaded. I noticed it kind of recoiled itself a little bit right there. I don't recall doing that. Maybe the RV's not totally level. Or maybe the cords behind it are a little too taut and it pulled it back. I don't know, because normally it'll face toward the bed and just pause there. If it needs tweaked, we can do that for you. By the way, did you notice like the extra little storage over here in the corner? This floor plan, every little corner they shoved something into it. If I'm going to be ultra critical though, the gap at the top of the cabinet, I don't know why they did that. Because now it's just a dust collector. None of the other cabinetry stops short of the ceiling. I don't know why they chose to do it right there. But that's me looking for trouble with a map and glasses. Like, there's not a whole lot to really critique on this one. A lot of builders who make this layout, they make the bathroom really small, really crappy, no pun intended, really tight. I notice it's not like it's not massive, but it's not terrible. Like, I've got pretty decent hip, shoulder, elbow room behind that thing. And you may have noticed how they've got a little bit of that Drunken Octopus Fight Club action happening right above you. So you do have a place to hang towels. The thing is, in this bathroom, you don't have a lot of space to store your towels. So you may want to kind of factor that into the equation. Now, I mentioned how the living room and the bathroom have different versions of enhanced fans. This is a Max Air vent fan. It's just a different type that actually is a little bit lower profile and includes its own roof vent cover built right onto it. Now, remember how I talked about the ceiling being taller on this one? Look at me standing in the shower of this thing. I have awesome headroom up in this sucker because it's a 6'10" ceiling. I'm a little bit over 6 foot plus shoes. I can fit in that thing all day just fine. But the thing is, something that some folks may not like, it is a radius shower. Radius showers can limit your elbow room. The best thing I can suggest for you is, like, you see where your handles are? If you keep your belly pointed toward that, that is the angle you can position your body to give you the most elbow room. But they're not really friendly for doing things like shaving your shins like my Uncle Gary. He doesn't shave his whole leg, only his shins. I don't know why. He does things that we quit asking questions a long time ago. Ever since he got that plate in his head, but that's a whole thing. Regardless, you get the idea. They do have the water-saving shower miser here, though. That's what that little blue thing is. And really, the funny thing is, that's really only going to be useful for you if you are kind of park camping. If you're boondocking. If you're park camping, you're really not going to use it. This is also one other little thing that, given all the other upscale features they have in these Embers, it does surprise me that it is a very conventional plastic sink. But at the same time, usually the sinks don't tend to fail in RVs. It's not impossible. Anything is possible in any RV, you know. It's just that it's just surprising. It's surprising that it doesn't even have stainless look. Like, I always tell people, you mean you didn't even have the courtesy to lie to me? That's how I kind of feel about this one. Now, I'm at an RV show display currently, and they tend to get a little uppity with me if I start messing with the slides in one of these things. But that's really their problem, because I'm making this video for your benefit and not theirs. I still wanted to get you a good look at the road mode on this one, because it is fantastic. Because there is nothing stopping you from going from the entry door, walking easily through here without doing some weird sideways travel trailer two-step, and getting up to the bed. And you can still walk around both sides of the bed, although over here, certainly you are doing a little bit more of the butt scoot boogie. Now, this, by the way, you can see it's a cable slide. That is the Norco Exact slide system, not AccuSlide. Some folks, I've had requests to include more slide information in my videos. I'm doing my best to fulfill that for you. If there's information you would like me to cover in my videos, I'll do my best, but understand if I get 50 requests, I can't do 50 additional things in every video every time. My videos already run long enough as it is that even I start to get bored of them. You get the idea. Anyway, you know, even at night, if you wanted to flip this out in transit and watch TV at night, you could. Interesting. That's a 12-volt TV, by the way, in case you're curious. So our kitchen, the refrigerator, and the bathroom, all easily accessible, and with the way that they put the enclosed pantry versus the open-face broom closet, you can also very easily access all of that. In terms of travel function, I give this one a solid A for a grade. I'm not going to give it an A+, because you really shouldn't be sitting in the slide and occupying it in transit, but man, short of that, this one checks the boxes, brother. Now, first and foremost, this has kind of caused some problems on a couple of these videos, and it's the reason I usually don't get into pricing in my videos, because pricing changes over time. At these RV sale events, sometimes manufacturers they'll basically cut us a deal, you know, to help sell a big bulk of these so that they can build a bulk of them and, you know, make a chunk of money themselves. They will give us a boost, basically, to reach some of that pricing. So if you check our website and it doesn't match that price, that's what's going on. Don't be surprised. Now, I mentioned when the video began that this could be considered half-ton towable. It just really depends on the specific qualities on your half-ton, its capacities, as well as where you're going to take it, because where you're taking the RV factors right into the the towing equation as much as everything else. A lot of people don't kind of consider that. Now, I mentioned this thing has the butt radar, as it were. I had an uncle like that once, but neither here nor there. These little glow beams, these are not like exterior accent lights. Those are your blind spot awareness beams. So if something is sitting in your blind spot, those will actually light up so that they're bright orange so you can see them and have an idea of like what's going on here. Now, they still maintain the use of this gearbox up front. That's something that began in their Overland series, but it looks a little bit differently here in the Touring Edition. So up top here, it's basically just a miniature utility chest. I grabbed one of our handy little battery boxes that we had in our display over here and stuffed it up there just to give you a point of reference, one of those little car jump box kind of things, you know. Down below here, this is where you'll have your propane tank storage as well as your space for batteries. Now, from the factory by default, it includes no batteries, but those are things that we can assist you with because different people have different needs and different batteries have different price tags, sometimes significantly. So we can make sure that we outfit you with the gear that you need instead of overcharging you for something you don't. Now that smart jack system, what it will do is when you get unhitched, it will remember how high it had to extend itself so that that platform right there goes right back to where you need to get hitched up. And you might notice the crazy coupler on that. That's another thing I was really surprised that they maintained here from the Overland Edition. On the Overland series, they allow you to exchange that coupler in case you want an articulating hitch like a lock and roll kind of hitch. I don't know that you need to worry about that on a Touring Edition, kind of made more for highway use and less off the pavement kind of camping, you know. But what's nice is what if you have a truck that sets a little higher? What if you have bigger tires? You can adjust your literal coupler height to better marry up with your vehicle so the RV rides more level, which is what they're supposed to do. Now you might notice slam latches on our all of our exterior baggage doors, even the little mini camp kitchen door that we're going to see. We are also prepped and ready for a full observation camera suite. So again, if you really want to have maximum blind spot awareness, you can accomplish all that here. Now these have a large front pass-through because they actually have a miniature drop frame. What's interesting, you see this piece of gray trim right here, right where the skirting comes in? Well, this drops down right here, so it's very much like a fifth wheel style frame situation. But what I really like is what we have going on up here. The RV includes built-in storage for an included picnic table. Now what's really cool about that is, I don't know if you've ever noticed what happens to picnic tables at campgrounds. One, sometimes the wildlife likes to, well, take a crap on your picnic table. Secondly, there are people who will literally sling their sewer hoses across the communal picnic tables. And I don't know about you. I don't feel like taking part in that. So I like having my own table here. Now, the little mini camp kitchen here, I've heard some folks, man, I absolutely love that. I've heard some folks say I could really do without it. It is a standard feature, but it's also really not hard to remove. It's interesting because I think on their Overland series, they actually removed it, but I believe it is still standard here on the Touring Edition. You got that slide out griddle at the bottom. Of course, that could just be like little countertop space if need be. And if you do get their optional solar package with that 2,000 watt inverter, it's basically a whole house inversion. Every household outlet will be powered, so you can run that fridge in transit, you know, even when you're just going down the road. Now down below here, you've got some nice sneakers on the kid. They ride on Goodyear Endurance radials, rated for 87 miles an hour, although I hope you never drive that fast. And you've got some factory TPMS on here, so you have, you know, basically in real time, keep an eye on the tire pressure on your tires, which is really, really handy, by the way. Now down below, what you don't see is any leaf spring suspension system, because this has a torsion suspension system. Now, it confuses people because a lot of RVs have torsion axles, and there's a lot of places that will really lean heavy on the word torsion, even if it has a leaf spring suspension, and try to make you think the RV has stuff that it doesn't. You can have leaf spring suspension and torsion axles. This is torsion axles and torsion suspension, and here's the best way I can describe it. With a leaf spring suspension, if you go around one of those really sharp curly Q exits on the highway, the RV is going to want to try to lean off the road. It's going to want to pull you off the road. A torsion suspension package leans into a corner, kind of like if you were riding a bicycle or a motorcycle. You lean into a corner more than steer into it. It sort of does that. And that right there, that's the butt radar. This is literal automotive tech that they applied here on this RV. And frankly, I hope it's one of those things that just becomes more and more industry common and standard. Like, I love that anti-lock brakes are becoming a more common thing. I will tell you, now that I've opened my mouth and said that, this RV does not have anti-lock brakes. I would really like it if it did, and for me being a touring model, that would make a lot of sense. But it's going to cost a couple extra bucks. Let me ask you, would you like it if this had anti-lock brakes? Leave me a comment, let me know. We'll get that feedback to Ember. Now, up top there, you see that mount. It's not just prepped for a ladder, it does include the telescopic removable ladder, but all the gray framework that you're seeing, It's basically a powder-coated aluminum exoskeleton, and their construction, they really don't use a lot of wood in the build of this, only in the roof structure. Other than that, your walls and floor, they're like an all composite and aluminum laminated materials. It's what I call good bones construction, because even if it gets wet, it's not impossible. It's really hard for it to fail and fall apart. And I apologize, it's kind of tight quarters in here. Normally I try to get you a big wide look at everything, and I'm doing the best that I can today, so hopefully, you're still getting the general gist. I do want to point out, though, the different kind of stabilizer jack system that they have here, the quick drop stabilizers. It has an extra stability leg built into it so that if you're in the RV, you don't get that seasick motion kind of feeling going on in one of these. The underbelly of this also, it's enclosed. It is forced air heated. They do have radiant barrier layering down there. They do have holding tank heaters. And every Ember Touring Edition and Overland Edition, the off-road kind of brothers to these things, they are all 0 to 100 degree rated, tested, and proven. So I guess if that's what you want to call 4 seasons, that's what this is. I don't like that phraseology. I prefer to go with the actual numbers that manufacturers test to. You may also notice how it is a single-headed sewer monster down there, so you don't have to worry about doing the poop scoot boogie and the walk of shame from hookup A to hookup B or anything like that. One other thing I do want to mention, if you look here, that is a cable slide system. It's not a Schwintek slide. Some folks like to just kind of know what kind of mechanism everything rides on, so hopefully you appreciate the extra info there. What's kind of cool about cable slides, they don't go into the underbelly of the RV. They exist completely above the floor, and they're very lightweight. So they reduce your weight, and they don't fight with where you could mount things like holding tanks or running gear or anything like that. Because if you notice, this slides directly above the tires. You literally can't put a rack and pinion slide on this. I know that some other manufacturers have a similar layout with rack and pinion slides, but they are not exactly the same footprint. So they did what they had to do on this one right here. I also really love that laser etching, well, not laser, what's that called? What's that called when they, punch cut stuff out like that? Anyway, I want to get you back here to show you the whole docking center. I'm going to have to move some stuff out. Oh, are those donuts? I found the snack station. Okay, if anybody asks, I had a salad. These are fat-free donuts, because I didn't have to pay for it. The fat was free. And if anybody else asks, that cherry glazed donut was gone before I got here. Doesn't matter. Anyway, once again, slam latches, big thick baggage doors as well. This is one of the things when you get to see one of these in person, like get your hands actually on it and feel this how solid and thick that is, because that's creating a thermal break between you and the outside. I also really do like how they have a fully enclosed docking center, but one of the things that I prefer on this is that even though it kind of eats into the cargo space a little bit, the docking center is totally separate from the storage compartment. There are some manufacturers who are turning the docking center to face the other direction, basically, so that it's just kind of open air into your cargo area. And I don't know. Personally, I don't really prefer that. Just in case you're curious, if you're not familiar with what you're identifying here, that is a gas and electric fast recharge DSI water heater. It is not a tankless on-demand water heater system. And I'm kind of curious, which water heater do you prefer and why? Now, as is often the case with almost any popular floor plan, they're not the only builder that makes it. Actually, I've got 2 other examples of it here at our big display here today, and they all do something a little bit different from someone else. Like these Embers, they're typically a little heavier. They're typically a little more expensive, but they're also typically more highly appointed and have more equipment. So if you're looking to maybe keep your second RV, or get your second RV the first time and keep it long term, it might be a good fit for you. And again, I want to reiterate, any sort of pricing signage that you saw for this event was specifically for this show event, and sometimes these prices that we get at these events, they are incentivized by the RV manufacturers to help make more business happen effectively. So if you check our website, if you call our team and it doesn't match those exact figures off that poster, just expect that may happen. Hopefully not, but if it does, at least now you know why. Until next time, I'll leave you some links in the video description to check for those other similar models, pricing, availability, all those things. And hit me with any questions, comments, or just even a, hey, thanks, nerd, down in the comment section, and I'd appreciate hearing from you. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone. Getting pretty good at this whole moonwalking thing.